found the creatures fascinating. He'd visit the camp in secret whenever he could, never making his presence known. After weeks of sly surveillance, he finally summoned the courage to speak to the wizard in charge. Ranrock wanted to join them, and the creatures. The wizard happened to drop his wand. Ranrock saw an opportunity. He picked it up, went to hand it back as a means of introducing himself. The sight of a goblin with a wand sent the wizard into an instant rage. He beat Ranrock nearly to death. Ever since, Ranrock has despised wizard kind, sees us all as cruel.
I'm grateful I was able to help you, Mr. Oakes. Adelaide thinks the world of you.
Oh, and I her. She's become quite savvy to my trading habits, always analyzing my detailed owls. If only I hadn't resorted to trading with such fiends. A lesson I shan't soon forget. Having my wand back is like being reunited with an old friend. I must return home and inform Adelaide of my safety. Will you be all right?
I'll be fine, Mr. Oakes. You get back to Adelaide. I assure you, her worries outweigh yours.
Oh, I'm anxious to see my dear niece. And then I plan to travel far from here for my next round of trading. Thank you. May life reward you justly for your deeds. Be well, my friend.
Mr. Oakes was lucky. Ranrock's lot would never have freed him.
Not your best moment, I fear.
You've one less follower, Ranrock. Alohomora.
quiet. Not quiet enough. I'll get you. Why drag this out longer than necessary? Why can't I hit you?
Revelio.
You haven't had mushrooms too like what my mother used to make. Like heads of lettuce, those mushrooms were.
Castle. Must have been quite stately in its time.
Glad you came.
Oh, please tell me
Revelio.
you have an answer for me about the butterflies.
I'll fix him. That charm grinder.
Glad you came.
Hello, Serona. I received your owl. How are you?
Hello, my friend. Did you ever find Lodgok?
I did, thank you. In fact, we're working together to try and rein in Ramrock.
Are you? I suspected you and he would get along. Perhaps best I don't know details of your plans. And I shall refrain from telling you to be careful yet again. But I hope you will be.
Of course. Your owl mentioned you're needing my help with something?
I do. I thought you might be just the person to do a favour for my friend Dorothy Sprottle in Upper Hogsfield.
I don't believe I've met Mrs. Sprottle.
She's lovely. Her late husband Aidan was a friend of my father's. In fact, I'd stay with Dot and Aidan the summers I waited tables here as a student. I've seen her a few times since Aidan passed, but the pub's been so busy lately, I've not been as attentive as I'd have liked. I wonder if you might pop in and see her. She may need some help collecting ingredients for her supply of Wiggenweld potion. And you could retrieve something of mine in the process. A box, full of old letters and such.
Why did Mr. and Mrs. Sprottle have your box of letters after all this time?
It's one of a few that I had when I was young. Dot found it when she was clearing out a closet. Can't imagine what's in there. Probably terribly theatrical. The ramblings of a teenage witch and her friends. You're welcome to take a peek inside, if you do find it. To be honest, I'd imagine it contains some lovely memories.
Why does Mrs. Sprottle keep a supply of Wiggenweld potion on hand?
Dot's a skilled potioneer. She's been supplying travelling vendors with Wiggenweld potion. An ordinary precaution that has, unfortunately, become a necessity, what with Ranrock's loyalists disrupting the trade routes.
I'll try to go and see her when I can.
It would mean the world to me, and to Dorothy. Aidan was bringing the box of letters to me when he was taken ill. Dot can tell you where he might have dropped it. You'll find the hamlet just north of Hogsmeade. Please do give Dot my love.
back to their feelings towards the dark arts. Where did I set my traps? Was it Lower Hogsfield or Upper?
Seems a pleasant enough little place. Ah, Upper Hogsfield. Now where to find Mrs. Sprottle? Hello, Mrs. Sprottle. Actually, Sirona Ryan asked if I'd come and see you.
Oh, dear Sirona, a gem. Has been for as long as I've known her.
She thought you might need help collecting ingredients for your Wiggenweld potion.
And she's correct. My darling Aidan used to collect Horklumps for me. Since he died, my supply has dwindled.
I'm sorry for your loss, Mrs. Sprottle.
Oh, thank you. Love of my life. A bit lost without him. If you wouldn't mind gathering some Horklumps for me, I'd be happy to compensate you for your time.
Believe it or not, I have some with me.
Oh, thank you. How wonderful. The travelling vendors will be thrilled to replenish their stock of Wiggenweld potion.
Sirona also mentioned that Mr. Sprottle was bringing her a box of letters when he fell ill.
Indeed he was. I'd almost forgotten. I stumbled upon it just before Aidan died. He was hoping to go through it with Sirona over a butterbeer or two. Those two were always like two bowtruckles in a branch. Aidan took ill when he was collecting Horklumps on his way to see her. He made it home, but I fear he dropped the box in the cavern. The cavern is in the hills just southwest of our hamlet. You can gather Horklumps and collect the box of letters there.
Thank you, Mrs. Sprottle.
Thank you. I'll be here if you are able to collect those Horklumps. I and the vendors I help would greatly appreciate it.
Revelio.
This could prove dangerous if I'm not careful. What do we have here?
Hello, Hamora.
Revelio.
This must be the cavern Mrs. Sprottle mentioned. To Mrs. Sprottle, but I still need to visit the cave to find Sirona's box of letters. Better have a look around. See about the Horklumps and the box of letters. That's all the Horklumps for now. Mrs. Sprottle should be pleased. Either I'll have to fight that troll, or work together. This must be Sorona's box of letters. I should take this box of letters to Sorona. I think that's everything.
I wouldn't mind a draw.
If it weren't for the cost of things, Babylon's been...
He'll see it was a mistake.
Still talk about you taking
Oh,
down...
please tell me you have an answer for me about the butterflies.
Hello, Sorona. I have good news. I was able to provide your friend Mrs. Sprottle with some hall clumps for her Wiggenweld potion, and I found your box of letters.
Oh, thank you. I knew you were the one to ask.
I wondered about some of the letters in the box.
Of course. It appears most of the letters were from fellow students.
I spotted a letter from you to Mrs. Sprottle. You two seem to have a lot of fun together.
We do. She taught me so much during my summers with her and Aiden. I shall be the first to admit that adolescents aren't always the easiest to understand. And not everyone was as kind to me as the Sprottles. But the depth of their kindness, and that of so many of my friends, got me through... well, got me through some challenging times, to put it mildly.
I saw a letter from someone named Mirabelle. Is that Professor Garlick?
It is! Still one of my dearest friends. I know she wouldn't mind you having seen that letter. She and I are of a similar mind, especially when it comes to young people. We believe experience to be an invaluable teacher. To borrow a phrase from Mirabelle, it's a joy to see anyone blossom, but particularly one who doubted they ever would.
One of the letters mentions Quidditch practice. Did you play?
I did. Was the Ravenclaw Seeker for 3 years. Oh, Merlin's beard. I adore Quidditch. Nothing like the feeling of catching the golden snitch when your team's down by 140 points. I'll never forgive Professor Black for cancelling it this year. I missed cheering for Ravenclaw.
I'm glad I could be of help. Mrs. Sprottle sends her best.
Don't know what I'd have done without her and Aiden. Thank you, again, for helping her. And for returning this box of letters. It's nice to reflect on good memories.
Miss Willardsey, could you remind me what it is that you needed?
Of course. A swarm of beautiful butterflies has been drifting about the edge of the Forbidden Forest. I wondered if you might possibly follow them and let me know where they lead.
I'll say it again. Can't thank you enough for helping to save the village from those trolls.
Centaurs have never had much use for wizard kind, have they? I'd rather scrape on it. My plan is to have enough galleons one day, but I don't have to work at all. The hot head is to spend my days baking treacle tarts and their chance, to be sure. Of course, it's always a treat to see some...
My children are beginning
on my last nerve of late.
My mother used to threaten us with sleeping drafts and our butterbeer.
Why would anyone bother sending secret love letters? If you want to win me over, just treat me to a butterbeer at the Three Broomsticks.
A Daedalian key. I wonder where it might lead me.
I need to catch up on my letter writing. I think my owl's getting cobwebs.
There's the cabinet. How do I get this key in there? That's it! An old coin. Perhaps Nellie knows what it means.
I hope to have an owl of my own.
Galleons and a historian.
Someone gets struck by a
Were you able to follow one of the Daedalian keys?
Hello, Nellie. I managed to get a Daedalian key into its lock.
Brilliant! What did you find in the cabinet?
A curious token of some sort.
Looks like some sort of house token. I bet it unlocks house chests. I call them house chests. I've seen the one in Gryffindor and heard they're also in the other common rooms as well. Keep an eye out. I do hope you continue on. For so much effort, the prize must be something grand.
I should see this through and find the Hufflepuff house chest. This must be my house. Seems I'll need to find more house tokens if I'm to open this. Quite a few by the look of it.
Oh, left. Now you should be able to travel to and from Feldcroft in an instant.
You made it.
Enjoying the view?
Keeping an eye on things. Feldcroft isn't what it used to be. No one has felt safe here since Ranrock's loyalists took a peculiar interest in that castle over there. My uncle Solomon is a former Auror and refuses to look into it. Possibly with a wand, no less.
I heard a goblin refer to wizard kind as wand carriers. Are goblins forbidden from carrying wands?
Precisely. That's why I'm on the hunt for answers. If I'm to cure her, I need to understand what happened to her. Anne was always the most mischievous of the three of us. Which is saying something, knowing me and ominous. Come on, I'll take you to my uncle's. This way. Feldcroft used to be a lot livelier. With Ranrock's lot wandering about all the time, everyone stays out of sight. Here we are. My sister should be just inside.
Aha! Sebastian, where did you...
Is that what I think it is?
We've been over this, boy. Shrivelfigs cannot reverse a curse. Nothing can. The sooner you accept that reality, the better.
But we haven't tried everything.
There is no cure! When will you accept that?
Never! I can never accept it.
Now look what you've done.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry you had to see that. If you don't mind, I just need a moment alone.
Poor Sebastian. Not the visit he'd hoped for.
That boy will fray my last nerve.
Excuse me, Mr. Salah.
Oh, yes, Sebastian's friend. I apologize on behalf. He thinks he can help Anne. Nothing can be done for her.
It could be that you've not yet...
Ah, you sound like Sebastian.
Perhaps the healers don't know everything, sir. Sebastian is single-mindedly focused on finding a way to help his sister. If there is a cure, he will find it.
Giving her hope is cruel.
With all due respect, sir, hope keep Anne's spirits up.
You may mean well, but I know what's best for Anne and Sebastian. They are my stubborn brother's children. Especially Sebastian. If you really want to be of help, you'll make sure Sebastian does what he should do, not what he wants to do. He's no idea the harm he could do. I hope you'll remember what I've said. Good day.
I'm sorry about earlier. Those bouts of pain are difficult to bear.
Are you all right, Anne? I didn't mean to intrude.
You didn't, truly. And I'm all right. The pain from this curse comes in bouts, and often suddenly. It's not anyone's fault. It's nice to meet you, by the way. You must be the new 5th year Sebastian told me about.
I am. Sebastian and I met during a rather lively duel in defense against the dark arts.
Oh, dear Professor Hecat. She's a powerful witch. And she knows how to keep students like my brother and me in line. I do miss Hogwarts, but I wouldn't mind being in Feldcroft, really, if it wasn't so dreary now. Between the goblins at the castle and my uncle fighting with Sebastian whenever he's home, it's not the cosy retreat it once was.
Sebastian mentioned something about your uncle being an ex-Auror, but refusing to go after Ranrock's loyalists. I must say, I wasn't prepared for him to be as angry as he was.
Uncle Solomon is frustrated by what happened to me, and by Sebastian for thinking he can fix it. They both mean well, I know they do, but my uncle is right. This curse cannot be undone. I can feel it. Sebastian cannot take away my pain. Perhaps you can help him to understand that.
I'm afraid it's really up to Sebastian, and his mind seems to be made up.
I can only hope he realizes the futility of his search for a... I'm getting tired. I should probably rest. Thank you for stopping by. I wish you well.
I ought to see how Sebastian's faring.
Why will he not listen to me? She's my sister.
How are you doing, Sebastian? I'll admit, I wasn't expecting...
He's always angry. After Anne was hurt, he only grew worse. It's as though he blames me somehow, always calling me. I'm the one trying to help.
Both Anne and your uncle seem genuinely convinced that nothing...
I refuse to believe that. I miss my sister. Come with me. I need to show you where it happened. Ranrock's loyalists are capable of so much more than people realize.
Revelio.
They should not be underestimated. All the debris you'll see is from whatever's going on at that abandoned estate. They've been digging for something. Up there, on that plateau, is where they cursed Anne. This way.
How much longer are we expected to dig through this rubble? Ranrock knows what he's doing. It's an honor to be a part of it. Only good wizard is a dead wizard in my book. We were just here. Hello?
Next time I see Fig or that student.
How nice I will make you Do you think this is funny? You are postponing it. There you are. Is that the best you can do? You're so very weak.
What are you doing? What is this?
You should have known you would lose.
Fall dead asleep on my feet, I could.
Fringo! Why don't you come up here and fight me? Someone been taken out last week!
Confringo!
Revelio.
Well, I won't rest. Dead. It's the way.
Revelio.
That was pitiful.
Revelio.
Rather unwise coming back this way.
Revelio.
Confringo!
I feel as though you're not even trying.
Let's get this over with. You don't know
What an unfortunate disappointment.
I won't rest until you're dead.
What? No!
You've made your last mistake. Don't do such
Not sure what
Too This is almost too easy. Impressed? Is that it? Confess the likes of me. I won't rest. Over here. One less cue at the bottom. I'm wise coming back this way. You're like a flying bubble. Put me down! No! Was that your best? Put me down!
Revelio.
Easily diverted.
Reparo.
You can't stop us.
Expelliarmus. Confringo. I confess, that was a bit more than I'd bargained for. I tried to warn you.
Reparo. Those loyalists deserved what they got.
Couldn't agree more. This is where it happened. We smelled smoke in the middle of the night. When we looked outside, flames were shooting from the estate. Before my uncle and I could stop her, Anne rushed out, racing towards the fire, worried someone had been hurt. She came face to face with a horde of goblins, frantically trying to stamp out the flames. Suddenly, an icy voice drifted out from somewhere in the smoke. Children should be seen and not heard. A blinding blast followed. They didn't even give her a chance to run.
It sounds as if the Loyalists attacked Anne without cause.
I wouldn't put it past them. But I'm convinced that they were trying to hide something. It may be grasping at billywhigs, but I keep thinking that there might be something here that could lead me to whoever cursed Anne. Might be the only way to learn what type of magic harmed her, which could help me find a cure.
Perhaps you're right. The Loyalists are everywhere, but they do seem to be spending a lot of time here, and it's likely they're hiding something.
And at Rookwood Castle. Shall we have a look around? They seem to have set up camp here for a specific reason. They have stations for everything. I've heard goblin dig sites like these are popping up everywhere.
It's a wonder the Ministry isn't doing more. Always armed and ready for a fight, Ranrock's Loyalists. Whose home was this?
Been abandoned long since I've lived here. Rumor was a Hogwarts professor lived here once, centuries ago. But that's all I ever heard. It might be worth taking a closer look at the house itself.
Sebastian, over here. Do you think that this was damaged by the fire the night that Anne was cursed?
Could be. But it looks to me as though this was intentional.
Confringo!
Not sure what I did to deserve that.
Reparo.
Thank you for making me a first object of your suspicions. Know who my friends are now, don't I?
Levioso! Accio! Revelio! Expelliarmus! Confringo!
This well looks familiar. Sebastian, I've seen this before. This house, the well, the view.
What do you mean? When?
Give me a moment. I'll explain in a second. Sebastian, this house did belong to a Hogwarts professor. Hundreds of years ago.
Who? What do you...
I found a pensive that day in the restricted section with a memory that showed this house. There was a little girl and a drought. The keepers have shown me other memories as well. The girl became a Hogwarts professor. Her name was Isadora Morganach. She was one of the keepers.
The keepers? Like in Quidditch?
I realize it's a lot to take in. I'm not even sure I understand. They call themselves keepers because they're protecting some type of knowledge.
Let me see if I've got this straight. You have Ranrock and Rookwood after you because of something you found at Gringotts, where you ended up via a portkey. You can see traces of an ancient magic that you think Ranrock is trying to harness. Oh, and this house belonged to a Hogwarts professor who, if I didn't know you, I think you were pulling my leg.
You for answers about what happened to Anne, and me for answers about the keepers.
Look at this.
Someone piled this here for a reason. Is it blocking something?
Only one way to find out. Huh, a stairwell. Why bother blocking a stairwell?
There might be something here worth a closer look.
They've left all of this simply strewn about.
Confringo!
They're after something bigger. Not sure what I did to deserve that.
Seems these journal entries are from Isadora's travels. A journal entry of Isadora's. I should hold on to this.
Expelliarmus! trigger!
Not sure what I did to deserve that.
Repulsor! Leviosa!
Revelio.
You're not going to believe this. I can see the Undercroft.
What? A daydream? Because that happens to me too.
I know it sounds strange, but...
Honestly, nothing you say sounds strange to me anymore.
Fair enough. I can see the Undercroft through this stone wall, as though it's a window. This has happened before.
I'm listening.
I think it's to do with my ability to see traces of ancient magic.
But you said you didn't really understand it, and that you couldn't wield it.
That's true, and I'm still not sure what it all means. What I do know is that my ability allows me to travel through these windows I see.
Wait. We can get straight to the Undercroft from here. Ominous will be flawed.
We can. But perhaps best not to tell anyone else about this for now. Even Ominous.
Understood. Well then, invisible, secret, ancient magic passageway? Here we come. I'm tempted to hold my breath. Why would the door lead us here?
Sebastian, look. Why hide a triptych here?
Seems as if something's missing.
A note. Let's have a look.
Anything helpful in the note?
A rune symbol. I've seen similar symbols used by the keepers.
I've been thinking. A keeper lived in that house. You said that goblins may be wielding some form of this ancient magic.
I can't be sure, of course, but I don't think so. I didn't see any traces of it around your sister.
Very well. But that...
True.
Then we'll have to unravel what this all means. But now I need to see Ominous. Don't worry, I won't tell him anything. Did I mention that, apparently, Salazar Slytherin had a secret scriptorium here, in Hogwarts?
You did not? Sounds worth looking into. Any idea where in the castle?
No idea. Ominous just learned of it. I'll let you know what I find out. I had no idea our visit to Cian would unfold into all of this. My head's an utter mess. But I'm glad you told me everything you did. I'll be in touch. Till then.
Meet me near the ruins of Falbaton Castle. After dark. Do not tell anyone.
I'd like to ask you about changing the room's ambience.
Of course. What sort of overall look most appeals to you?
I'd like the room to feel natural and earthy, as though I'm outdoors.
Oh, sounds perfect.
Thank you again for delivering those potions to Madame Lawing. Saved me a lot of time and trouble. A wise decision. Thank you. I hope to see you again. Farewell. A wise decision. Thank you.
Confringo!
How long for a bacon and mushroom stew?
What? Yes. Confringo! Leviosa!
I won't rest. Dead.
Confringo! Confringo!
Nice to see you, my young friend.
Don't you fret, Biscuit. I shall sort something out.
Oh, it's you! What a pleasant surprise. No one can say I don't keep a stacked shelf. No one can say I don't keep a stacked shelf.
Was it 2 pinches of extra?
Have Have you finished your assignments?
I finished the tasks, Professor.
Well, well. I trust you are meticulous in your efforts. After all, shortcuts only ever lead to shortcomings.
Yes, sir, of course.
Good. Ordinarily, I'd say it's not my concern either way, but you... I want to make sure you're well prepared. Talent and resolve are a potent combination. It would be a shame to let that go to waste.
Thank you, Professor.
Don't let it go to your head. Now, let's see how you fare with Diffindo. Wand at the ready. Focus. Diffindo can be dangerous if you're not paying attention. Very good. It seems... It's a pleasure to have a student who actually heeds instruction. As I mentioned earlier, Diffindo can be versatile but dangerous. Good to see you continuing to practice.
Arresto momentum. Glacius. Expelliarmus.
And your reading is The Dragon. That's exciting, I suppose. Perhaps you're due for an adventure.
Ladies.
Professor Shah.
Astronomy is not divination. You won't find the mysteries of the cosmos charted out on your palms or at the bottom of your teacups. Alas, the heavens remain hazy to the starry-eyed. Now, if you were to devote yourselves to persistent and painstaking observation, you just might catch a glimpse. With that in mind, please take your telescopes. Tonight we will be on the observation deck. Still don't have your own? You can't be the new student forever, you know. You can share with Mr. Takar.
Here, I can adjust that for you.
No, bring it into focus on your own. Now, I expect all of you to put in your stargazing hours outside of class. Is that clear?
But, Professor, it's freezing out.
Mere cold didn't stop the great stargazers of the past. Look only to the astronomy tables they erected throughout the Highlands from which they gazed millennia ago on the very self. Is that clear? Dismissed.
Hello. I don't believe we've met officially.
Hello, Amit. It's nice to meet you.
Did I hear Professor Shaw say that you don't have your own telescope? I have a spare one you could borrow for the rest of term.
That's very kind of you, Amit. Are you sure you won't need it?
I'm certain. It's my old one. I finally got my hands on the new Celestia Contemplar. You've heard of it, I assume? I mean, of course you have. It's only the pinnacle of all personal stargazing. Goblin-cut glass, first-rate optical enchantments. Hate to think so.
Well, thank you, Amit.
Think nothing of it. Anyway, the telescope's in the storage room right underneath us. You can't miss it. I have some, reading to finish on the lower deck. Come find me there afterwards, and bring the telescope. There's something I want to talk to you about.
Tried to put off my stargazing as long as I could. Obviously, if that was... How am I supposed to find spirits? Am I holding the telescope?
Confringo! This was his old telescope. Looks practically brand new.
A pristine night for stargazing. Do not...
Professor Shah's just about as cold and distant as the bloody stars she wants us to chart. Ugh, not how I wanted to spend my evening.
Professor Shah?
It is increasingly rare to find us. But if you truly desire to chart the courses of the... We ourselves are not unlike blank...
You mentioned astronomy tables are...
Long ago, devotees of the astral arts set up stone. For centuries, wizards... Sadly, they have since become mere monuments to the intrepid intellectual pursuits of a bygone epoch.
Am I right in thinking you are unimpressed by divination?
Of the many other so-called disciplines taught here, divination is perhaps the most feeble, especially in its nonsensical practice of astrology. Do not confuse astronomy and astrology. One is concerned with mysteries stellar and lunar, the other is mere lunacy.
Thank you, Professor. I look forward to stargazing.
I am glad to hear it. Should be a stellar night for it.
The perfect night for...
I have the telescope.
I would not offer a prospective stargazer a third-rate lunacy.
Yes, what is it?
You remember those astronomy tables Shaw was going on about? And it seems there may be one right here at Hogwarts. I believe we could use it to find hidden constellations.
And you need someone to help?
I do. Are you in? No one from the Gobstones Club will go with me. Said they'd rather get spit at by a stone than... Well, they are cowards. Let us get moving while the stars are still out. I'll show you how to use that telescope once we get there. I promise.
All right, I suppose I can go with you. I hope it's worth it.
It will be. Trust me. Shall we? The table is on a castle wall ahead. Look for a stone platform, something that doesn't quite belong. We'll know it when we see it. Onwards we go then. Some say the locations of the tables were originally marked by centaurs for ritual stargazing. It is nice having a fellow stargazer to explore with. It's not that creepy out here at night, is it? The Gobstones Club are cowards. Here I am, charging ahead. Why don't you lead the way?
If you're sure.
A little foreboding.
A few cobwebs and some dust. Nothing to be concerned about.
Oh, of course. It's just not as
could I ask
tidy.
you something?
Oh, certainly.
Why are you so fascinated with stars?
I suppose because there is so much to learn about them. I mean, there is plenty to learn about a lot of subjects, but astronomy seems limitless. Always something new being discovered. They are forever discovering new moons and stars. In fact, they discovered a new planet just 50 years ago.
Where precisely is the table we're looking for?
According to an old astronomer's chronicle I found in the library, it may be somewhere along the castle wall.
Actually, that's all I wanted to know.
Oh, very well then.
Amit, could I ask you something? Where precisely... Actually, that's all I wanted to know.
Oh, very well then.
Revelio. Amit, could I... Where... Actually, that's all I wanted to know.
Oh! More cobwebs. You don't think any spiders might be lurking about?
Oh no, not this close to school, Amit.
The constellation should appear near the center of your view. As soon as you've lined up the telescope, we will be able to fill out our star chart. Stargazing is all about patience and precision. I was right about the tables. and your contribution was invaluable.
Thank you, Amit. I look forward to reading them.
And I look forward to writing them. This is only the beginning. You will find more, and if I have ever seen one, it's you.
That's quite generous. Thank you.
You are welcome. It has goblin-cut glass and a gobbledygook inscription, you know, and... Anyway, glad on... Never do get tired of seeing the astronomy tower at night. What a view.
He wants to have some fun.
Anything to do with the Dark Heart should be avoided. It's too risky.
Anything to do with Salazar Slytherin is worth the risk.
I can't agree. And I'll not say a word more. I'm sorry.
I won't give up.
What were you and Ominous speaking about?
He's being ridiculous. Apparently Salazar Slytherin had a secret scriptorium here in Hogwarts. Ominous swears it was used for the dark arts, so he wants nothing to do with it. I reminded him that Anne needs a cure. This scriptorium could hold the answers we need.
The dark arts do pique my interest.
There's more to dark magic than people realize. The Gaunts know this. Better than most. Perhaps I've spoken out of turn. Ominous's family history is personal to him.
I'd like to know more about it if you wouldn't mind telling me. I won't repeat it.
Very well. But do keep this between us. Ominous learned dark magic from his parents.
Crucio, correct? The Cruciatus Curse. Also known as the Torture Curse. Inflicts excruciating pain on the victim.
Apparently, his parents and older siblings had no qualms about casting us on muggles for sport. Ominous described the sound of the victim's cries as horrific, so the first time he was asked to cast it himself as a child, he couldn't bring himself to do it. As punishment, his family cast it on him. The anguish was so bad that when asked to cast it again, he relented. I have repeatedly assured Ominous.
How horrible. Poor...
After that incident, the rift between Ominous and his family only grew. That is until I came along. Every moment he isn't at Hogwarts, he's with us in Feldcroft. Ominous trusts me. And more often than not, he winds up listening to me. I'll remind him of that when I follow up about the scriptorium. Watch for my owl. I'll have news soon enough. I'll make Ominous understand. He'll change his mind.
The brother who works at Gringotts couldn't pay me enough to sit behind a desk all day. Afraid to let me someone's here. Good for you. I will make
Nothing to poach in Arrowshire except spiders. Not worth the trouble if you ask me. Legs are far too brittle. I didn't always like it by the way.
Are you in some sort of trouble?
Nearly attacked by wolves, I was. Only just escaped with my life. I need to be better prepared next time. Could use some thunder brew. I don't suppose a student like yourself would be in possession of such a thing?
I'm afraid not. I'd help you if I could, but I don't actually have anything with me.
Well, that is unfortunate. I was hoping you'd be better prepared. Not a charitable bone in their body. You found your way to Pit upon Ford. Delightful place. Despite the little dog.
Revelio.
Not sure how I'd fare in a little place like this.
handy resource indeed, your field guide.
What seems to be the problem?
You may well ask. I'm convinced I saw a Grim. I'm not safe. All I need is an invisibility.
I'm afraid I'm all out of
Safe. Hopefully the Grim, or whatever it has foretold, doesn't get me first.
You wanted to speak with me?
I've heard all about you, of course.
I suppose it must seem that way. I'm not sure it's...
I'm going to presume your reputation is in fact warranted, in which case... You see, we were learning to repel boggarts in Professor Hecat's class.
They're adorable.
They seem adorable until, regardless of how reasonable I believe my fear of Puffskeins to be, I'm beginning to get...
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. Poppy keeps offering to help. Anyway, to make matters worse, I stupidly...
The hidden herbology core?
Yes. Rumor has it that the it's supposedly so overrun now that I was hoping you could go there and bring back evidence that I could use to say a bit of an exceptionally dangerous plant of...
Very well. If I'm in the area, perhaps I shall take a look.
Grand. I'd very much appreciate it.
Hidden herbology corridor. Sounds intriguing.
am I missing?
Revelio.
These dry vines are one spark away from becoming kindling.
Confringo!
This must be the entrance to the hidden herbology corridor. Devil's Snare seems to thrive in darkness. Perhaps it doesn't care for light.
Lumos.
Confringo! Confringo!
Lumos.
I imagine a piece of that enormous venomous tentacular would be enough for Duncan to prove his bravery.
Lumos.
You'll be having to come.
My family and I.
Have you found anything to, prove my
Hello, Duncan.
That's one leaf. Must have been a giant venomous tentacula. I appreciate you getting it for...
Of course.
This is sure to put an end to Puffskein Dunking for good when I show everyone in the common room tonight. This'll show Everett how ridiculous... Thank you again. Thank you for all of your help. No more Puffskein Dunking for me.
I've been collecting fruit behind.
knowledgeable.
What do we have here?
I hope those assignments were challenging enough for you.
I've completed all of my tasks, Professor Onai.
Very well done. Although I must admit, now, as you have no doubt sharpened your perception by completing my assignment, I am curious. Based upon the knowledge that one's present and even one's past may reveal traces of what is to come, what do you see in your own future?
There will be hardship, I'm sure of it.
A measured perception. Very wise. Nothing worthwhile is ever easy, and that is why such futures are worth striving for. But this talk of tomorrow should not divert us from your present success. I shall inform our good deputy headmistress of your exemplary performance. And if that performance is any omen of what your future may hold, then I, for one, see great things. Channel your magic towards your targets. You have it! Now, why not practice the new spell on the training dummy?
Lumos.
I think you have it. At some point, you must stop preparing and put your newly honed skills to the test outside of the classroom.
Professor, do you have a...
I do.
I was wondering how you decided to teach divination.
Those of us who possess the sight are rare, and, as is often the case with the unique among us, we can frequently be misread, even feared. When I was granted the opportunity to teach others about my gift and the good it can do, I was most grateful.
I see. Natty told me that you and she moved here from Uganda, where she had attended Wagadu.
Yes, Natsai and I both loved Uganda and Wagadu, but we are happily settled here now. I had foreseen such a change, but did not know the details until it occurred. I was glad of the outcome. You would be wise to remember that the consequences of our actions are complex. And so, divining what is to come is not as simple as gazing into a crystal ball or studying the bottom of a teacup.
I find it truly intriguing, even if I don't fully understand it.
Intriguing. That is one word for it. And I'm certain you will come to understand many things more deeply in the days ahead. You are a student at Hogwarts, after all. It cannot have escaped you that we in the Wizarding world are forever navigating the seemingly inexplicable.
Of course, Professor.
Now, I know that we both have places to be. Not because I have the sight, mind you, but because I am a professor. I have enjoyed our conversation.
On another adventure, are we?
Professor, what made you want to teach herbology?
How lovely of you to ask. I've always had an affinity for greenery, so this
graduation is a bit of a dream come true. After graduation, I was thrilled to be asked to step in for my old herbology professor. He'd had a slight accident, you see.
Oh dear. A shame for him, but it worked out well for you.
Well, he never cared, really cared for the plants, and they could sense it. Oh, you'd be surprised how perceptive a plant can be. At any rate, the trouble began one day when he cut into a wigan tree. Unfortunately for him, its leaves were hiding a bowtruckle. You may recall the marvelous creatures that resemble a twig. The little beast gouged the professor's eyes quite fiercely, but terrifying, I'd imagine. Likely for the professor, too.
And that's when you took over as the herbology professor?
Well, not quite. After 3 weeks at St. Mungo's, my predecessor regained a tiny bit of his eyesight. He insisted on returning to the greenhouse. Within a week, he claims by accident, kicked a Chinese chomping cabbage, so it was back to St. Mungo's for him.
A fair bit of bad luck there, I'd say.
Well, I felt awful for him, but I dare say I felt a bit more sympathy for the cabbage. Upon his discharge from the hospital, his indifference to plants had turned to utter disdain. He lost what little patience he had left with a particularly temperamental venomous tentacula and, well, his resulting leave of absence continues to this day.
I'm glad everything worked out as it did and that you're the herbology professor now.
Very kind of you to say. I do love these gardens and helping my students grow. Lovely speaking with you. Have a wonderful day. Oh, and remember, be kind to your wigan trees.
Try not to judge what others do.
Levioso.
Here's full of the mandrakes. I haven't fed them yet. will be safe with me, till they're sold. Then you'll have to make do with money. You're a force to be reckoned with, aren't you? Scaring all the goblins away. Such a wee bairn gieing a thrashing to a troll! Oh, I can't believe it! Oh, I'm always thrilled when a young one makes a wise purchase. I can tell you'll go far.
Who lived here, I wonder?
See myself. How nice of you to stop by.